dang square. Today I'm going to do an unboxing that's new gear, new pedal day. It's not really new, it's used, but whatever. It's cheaper than what it was new. Cut my hand.
Bubble wrap. Ah! Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap.
More bubble wrap. There's a lot of bubble wrap, which is, I guess, a good thing.
It's pink.
Pink bubble wrap. All the way from Japan.
Ooh, Japan.
Japan.
Pan. It's either the box pink or the bubble wrap pink. Nope, the bubble wrap pink. It's a brown box.
It's a brown box. Alright, so far so good. We got a Moen GEC9 effects routing system. Oh, it's like almost brand new in the box. The manual for it. It is a Gen 1, okay.
Ooh.
Alright, so we got the Moen GEC9 effects routing system. Now, back in the day, not too long, I made a video saying about that I got this recently. Well, under unfortunate circumstances, this is not an expensive paperweight. Now the big difference is that this is way cheaper than this one. This is about brand new, about $400. This one, even though I didn't buy it brand new would still be like maybe like $200. I got it for like $170-ish. Now the big difference is that this one is not as complicated. It's sticky. It can't do as much as this can. Like for instance, the ES5 can do MIDI, while the GEC9 cannot do MIDI. So some of the functions, which I don't use MIDI, so it's not a big problem. I can pretty much do what I did with this. The only other function I know I cannot do with this is that when I can't program it to where when I hit a preset, I can't use that same preset to turn on and off the my flanger. So that I'm going to have to figure out a way to figure that out, how to work that. What I can do with this that I did with my ES5 is that I can control my amp with this with an amp switcher. Now the only thing is this does not have any TRS plugs in it, which I need for the amp because it's a 3-channel amp and it requires a TRS cable on the foot switch to change the channels. But to solve that issue, we're going to use a splitter cable that's TRS in and mono out, and it's even labeled on each what is tip and ring. It has 9 loops you can put on this. 3 of them are isolated, 6 are in series. What I'm going to end up doing is taking loops 9 and 8 and using those to change out my channel 1 and channel 2 on my amp. The better thing about the GEC9 is that it's easier to program. Just push the buttons and it programs for that preset. Way simpler than the ES5 to program. It's a bit bigger than ES5.
Hey, you dropped something.
Hmm?
You dropped something.
It's a bit bigger than the ES5, but that's okay. I'm not worried about the size. It'll be fine. This is actually the GEC9 version 1. Version 2, the buttons are flopped, and instead of doing A through J, it does 0 through 9 for the banking. But other than that, it's the exact same thing. Like I said, it's got the 6 in-series loops, and then your 3, 7, 8, 9 isolated loops on the back. You have a buff in, a buff out, non-buff in, out. Your out 1 and out 2 are actually in parallel. It goes through your series loops. then to your outs. This out is actually so you can connect into your loop 7 when you want to connect that in. That's how you would connect your 7, 8, and 9s. That you would have to go from out to in, do your loop, out to in, do your loop, out to in, do your loop, and that would be your last out. But I won't have to do that. I'm just going to be series, and then 8 and 9 will be completely isolated using, I believe it's going to be the normally open outs for the channel switching. You have a ground, which I'm not really sure, which is not a bad thing to have, but it's there. Where are you pointing at? You're all over the place.
Sorry.
You have a clean out, which is your clean out for your tuner on the front. If you hit that, it mutes everything and goes straight to clean out for your tuner. An interesting thing is that when you're in a preset, if you hit that preset again, it actually bypasses all the presets. So that actually is a good function I'll be able to use. I won't have to program a completely clean preset. I already have that with the bypass. You got your bank up and your bank down. Not a lot of bells and whistles on it. Very simple switcher. A lot simpler than the ES5. The ES5, if you can do some amazing things with the ES5. Really good switcher, but unfortunately mine's a paperweight. This will be my replacement for it, and it's going to be a good replacement. It's going to do what I want it to do, and I'll be right back after I got it all put together. Alright, so kind of a quick rundown of, like I said, of how this works. Right now we're in bypass mode. You hit the mute button here. You hit that, it goes out the clean to your tuner, which mutes everything else. Your presets, it's already kind of preset, but if you can see,
oh, that's bright.
Yeah, that light red LEDs are bright. Like I said, to program it, you just push a loop button to whatever loop you want, and it automatically saves. There's no having to hit a save button or anything like that. But as you can see, some of it's programmed just exactly what it does. It switches out different loops. Your banks is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J through A. So that's 10 banks, 5 presets. You got 8, 9 loops in this thing. So very simple to program. Yeah. Alright, so it's actually the day after. Had to work on this a lot because it wasn't working like I wanted to. But we got it to work where I wanted to. Come to find out, I had a bad cable. Go figure. So replaced it, fixed it. Kids in my house. It's getting big. It's getting big. So I'm having to go ahead and just take the wah off the pedal completely and just move it to the side. And since I'm doing that, I'm adding the volume pedal, which I've actually fixed. Because I had issues with that volume pedal. It was crackling and whatnot. Actually was able to kind of take it apart, clean the little potentiometer in it, but it works now. It's not crackling anymore, so that's good. But this is the final result of the board. It's cramped. It is packed. But it works. It works like I want it to. So kind of go how I did the programming, which is very, very simple. Right now you're in bypass, mute. Kind of go through the loops real quick. Loop 1 is flanger, which is off because every patch, this is kind of my workaround on how I did on the ES5, every patch has loop 1 on, but the flanger itself is off and doesn't come on until I actually, turn it on. That's why it's up front. So that was my workaround for that. So that's loop 1. The OCD, full tone OCD is loop 2. Ibanez Super Stereo Chorus, loop 3. Boss DD7 is loop 4. And the Metal Zone noise suppressor together is loop 5. Now the interesting part about this, the way I had been running it, how you're supposed to run this, is that this doesn't come return back to the switcher. It goes out auxiliary to my interface out to the back of the amp to the return on the effects loop. That's the proper way to use a metal zone. You don't run that through the front of your amp. Because, come to find out, a lot of people have found out that this is actually a preamp, more or less. It's a metal overdrive preamp. And obviously you need a noise suppressor where you're running kind of metal style tones. Put the Altoids tap tempo on the front. Had space. I was like, why not? Let's put the tap tempo there. So anyway, I'm not using a lot of the banks. I do have, like, I think a few. I had a few of the presets, like for these two, 5 and 4. I had to set on like a B, but yeah, I'm about to go back and just erase that because I really don't need a lot of banks. Even though it has 10 banks, I'm really only gonna be using one. So here's the programming. Program 1 or preset 1 is obviously the flanger, but then I got 3 and 4, which is chorus and delay for preset 1. Preset 2 is like I mentioned yesterday. I'm using 9 and 8 for channel switching on the amp. So when I go to preset 2, it activates channel 1 to go to clean overdrive, and then preset 3 is channel 1, but it's with loop 2, which is OCD. OCD I'm using as a front end boost. As you can see, the settings on it is a boost type setting. I have the tone all the way up to kind of give it a little bit of brightness. So that's how we're doing it. So 2 is the first overdrive with no boost, and channel 3 is first overdrive with the boost. Now goes channel 4 is oh no, it's not programmed. That is OD2 with the boost, and then 5. The way it's kind of weird, it's is loop 5, which is the metal zone with the boost and with OD1 on the amp. Now, I'm not going through the front of the amp, but for some reason, when I put on the OD1, it makes this sound so much better. Don't know why. Maybe somebody else could explain that to me in the comments, but when I going through this, going into the return, bypassing the preamp of my amp, going straight into the power amp. But when I put on OD1, even though I'm not going through OD1, it makes that sound so much better. But hey, I was able to program it that way, and it works phenomenally. So all I gotta do is just one button, switch out, go there, bypass everything to go total clean. I'm thrilled that I was actually able to get this to work. I was working on it for a while. I could not get it to work, but it's finally working the way I wanted to. Obviously, I'm going to have the wah and the volume at the front of the chain. So we're going to go to volume, go into the wah, go into in, and I'm going from the in into the tuner, going on the bypass 2 here, because come to find out, I didn't have enough cables, and really, it just was too much clutter just to right there as it is. I just figured go there, and I'm still using this as the mute. So there's nothing on the clean, which, you know, it's whatever. It does what it does. So tuner is always on, and I'm always getting tuner as long as the volume is down. It's whatever. It works. And there's your mute. Like, that's really an option. I can probably go without having that if I really wanted to. That's not an option. That stays. Definitely keeping that on the in the signal chain. But yeah, it's working. I'm not gonna go through any tones right now because I couldn't record a good sound off my phone if I tried. So, but I just wanted to kind of go and just show you I got it to work, and it's awesome. This is the Moen it's covered up, but the Moen GEC9 effects looping system, effects switcher, whatever you want to call it. And this is my current board state. Catch you later.